everybody. Welcome to another Disney Studios ranking. This is the show that we've done every month for the last long while, where we watch all of the films done by any of the entities from Walt Disney Studios, and we rank them. And this includes the DComs, Stanford's favorite, the
My
Disney Nature,
favorite.
Stanford's other favorite, the Marvel, the Star Wars, and
Touchstone.
the other
Yeah.
releases. And today we are talking about 2010. And I don't know about you, but this is the one where I had seen the least
Yeah,
of these rankings.
yeah. I had seen many of them, but there were some that were like kind of glaring omissions. Like, oh wow, I can't believe I hadn't seen that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I think there were 12 out of the 20
oh
that I hadn't seen.
wow. Okay,
Yeah.
and I was probably like at 9. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So it was interesting.
I had a lot of
And
homework
I
to get
have a
ready.
lot. I have a lot that I'm just kind of like, on that.
No,
It was
same.
hard to rank because it's like, which one do I pick over?
No,
Um,
like which one is
and
worse than this
yeah.
one, or or vice
Right.
versa. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about our number 20. Let's dive in. And what do you have at number 20?
This was a hard pick because it was kind of a three-way tie, but I ended up picking "When in Rome," the romantic comedy starring Kristen Bell and Josh Duhamel. If I'm saying his name right,
Yeah.
you know, so this is one that I had missed. I remember getting bad reviews, and I was thinking to myself, "Well, can it be that bad?" And it's set in Italy, and there's some fun stuff, but yeah, it can be that bad. Every decision. I think it was in the script. Every decision that was made me mad. I can't think of a better way to say it, Rach. Maybe you can help me process through it.
Yeah.
But I guess it follows just a lot of the tropes. I think of a romantic comedy, particularly romantic comedy of the era, of the time period. But just overall, I just found it frustrating and just unpleasant. And again, I just hated every creative decision that was made. I liked the cast, but I just didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like uh, the words that they were saying or the actions that they were doing.
Yeah, I don't have it much higher. It's in my bottom 5, so I'm there with you. I do feel like this sort of run between like 2006 and 2011 of romantic comedies, there were so many terrible ones in
Yeah,
that period that it really kind of gave a bad name to the
rap to
genre.
the genre because it's such a
Hmm.
venerable, wonderful genre, and these
Yeah,
films
and
are bad.
I really think that you can blame the fact that the last 10 years we've hardly gotten any. I
Yeah,
mean, you have an indie here and there. I mean, unless you're counting Hallmark and that kind of thing, but that's part of the reason why Hallmark became a thing, was because nobody else was making rom-coms.
yeah,
That's where you had to go because there were none being made,
yeah.
and unless you wanted to watch like a Judd Apatow type one that was more of the
The kind of
from a
gross
male
out.
perspective and
Yeah.
more of the raunchy, those were being made. But other than that, there were hardly any romantic comedies being made in the last decade, and I think a lot of it comes down to terrible ones like When in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just, if you're going to do something like this, especially if you're going to pay homage to like some of the greats like Three Coins in the Fountain and Roman Holiday,
Exactly.
things, you need to do a much better job.
Yep.
You need to be funny. You need to be much funnier.
Yeah, it was
uh,
just stupid. It wasn't funny.
yeah.
I don't think one joke. I didn't feel like one joke or one gag landed, and I can't necessarily blame it on the cast because I thought that. I mean, I like Kristen Bell. I mean, like I said, I like the cast. It's just I don't know if they just didn't have any chemistry or
Yeah.
the direction was bad. I really mostly blame the script, but still, ugh.
Well, my number 20 is, in my opinion, one of the more annoying movies I've ever seen in my life. It's the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland. I just do not like this movie. I don't like how the characters seem like they're always shouting. I don't like the whole like battle motif that ends up, and then all of a sudden you've got the Mad Hatter dancing in the middle of a battle scene. I don't like that she has this, like, there's the prophecy, and it's just no fun. And if anything, Alice in Wonderland is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be nonsense. It's supposed to be silly. And this is just unpleasant. I hate the Crispin Glover character. He's so weird. I mean, he's always weird, but why is he being all horny and like strange?
Yeah.
I don't know. Towards Alice, I don't like that. I know it's Underland and not Wonderland, but I just really dislike the movie. The only thing I really, I guess, like is Alan Rickman as the um,
As the caterpillar.
caterpillar. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's definitely the movie that if I was forced to rewatch any of these, it's the last one that I would choose. So it had to be the last. And also the fact that it made $1 billion. Now we're stuck with these terrible remakes. If it hadn't have done so well, we might not have had this horrible trend. So I blame it for that too. And it should have been better. Tim Burton should have been a perfect fit for this. It should have been great, and it was not great, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I have it a lot higher, which I can't believe. Number one, I think it shows the poor quality of films, overall throughout the year. But and I don't know if you want to talk about it now or later, Rach. What would you prefer?
We
just hit it now,
just talk about it now. Okay.
So, believe it or not, I have it at number 8. I mean, what the heck?
Gosh.
but there is method to because I honestly had to rewatch it again because I hadn't seen it since 2010.
Mm-hmm.
But I rewatched it just because, dude, you've got to get this solid in your brain. I mean, what in the world? So a couple of things, and again, I appreciate what you're saying, and I think that mine, I guess, would it be considered just a hot take or just a dumb take? Just like, Stan, what are you thinking? Again, what are you thinking? You're crazy. But I thought in a lot of for me, the Tim Burtonness of it worked, and I think what I appreciate about it, I don't think that it was necessarily titled well. In that, sure, there's these characters from Alice in Wonderland, but it's like Tim Burton created a weird sequel to the books, and for me that was, in a way, it was refreshing because I was just I hate this concept of these remakes so much that for this just to be kind of its own individual weird thing and not truly trying to remake a movie like he did with Dumbo, which I thought was just absolutely dreadful. That I don't know if it strangely worked. It strangely worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Alice's character arc, how she figured things out and was able to, stand up for herself. And I don't know, the CGI I found just kind of strangely entertaining. Anyway,
I'll allow it.
Well, you're nice to listen. I appreciate that, and I hope you'll still talk to me. But I can't believe it myself. But that's where it landed this round for me.
What do you have at 19?
Okay, again, so this was a 3-way tie for me. I have The Sorcerer's Apprentice at number 19.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought this film, again, the same thing. It's like, in this one though, I was like, okay, you've titled it The Sorcerer's Apprentice, and I'm thinking Disney, I'm thinking Mickey Mouse. I mean, not that Mickey Mouse needs to be in it or it needs to be, but it has nothing to do with a Fantasia short, like nothing other than in the title. And that to me seemed weird because it was like, maybe you want to title this something else, like just The Sorcerer's Battle or something. I don't know. And I hated Nicolas Cage's performance. It was just a lot of kind of CGI throw up. It was muddled. I can't stand Jay.
Baruchel.
In this role, I just thought it was an absolutely dreadful film.
Yeah. I have it a tiny bit higher, but not like super high. So my number 19 is one that I was really hoping when I saw it in this list. I'd never seen it. I was hoping it would be like, oh, big surprise, a hidden gem. No, it is the Tempest, Julie Taymor.
Oh
I
yeah,
almost put it at the bottom. I thought
it's
it was
so bad.
really bad.
I
And
I
I
have
was
it at
surprised
16.
how terrible it looked. I thought the visuals looked like something from Once Upon a Time, not a, like a feature film
Okay,
like
film.
this. It was so boring. It was so bad. I was just shocked at how bad it was. I almost just stopped and like I can't. I thought it
No,
was
I
terrible.
agree. Uh, if I saw it in the theater, Rachel, I promptly forgot it. So I rewatched it, and I'm with you. I could not believe how bad it was. Given that Julie Taymor was the one who directed it, I just was thinking she's going to bring a real visual panache to the
Yeah.
story. That's going to make it so really interesting. And it had whatever little she did, it had like the complete opposite effect. This could not have made Shakespeare more uninteresting and
Mm-hmm.
and uninspiring. I absolutely
And
hated it. What did you think about changing the role of Prospero into a female role? Did that have any uh, sway? Your way, or what was your take on that?
I mean, I guess I'm not familiar enough with the Tempest to like really taken that into effect in my experience. But I mean, they just don't do anything interesting with Helen Mirren. She tries as hard
Yeah,
as she can, and um, uh, and yeah, it has. I mean, a great cast: Felicity Jones,
oh,
Damon Hunsu,
it's a stunning
Alan
cast.
Cumming. So I thought, oh, this is going to be like maybe a hidden gem, but I just thought it was miserable. I did not enjoy it.
Yeah,
And
torture.
I like most Shakespeare adaptations. I don't know, like I said, this looked like a bad episode of Once Upon a Time to me as far as the visuals and which is, I thought at least Julie Taymor was going to provide that.
Me too.
Because like something like Across the Universe, it's like not great story wise, but it is visually very
Visually, it's
appealing.
lovely. Yeah, it's very appealing.
Yeah,
And of
yeah.
course, you know what great work she did with The Lion King. Julie Taymor directed this
Right.
wonderful production that the Metropolitan Opera in New York City does of Mozart's The Magic Flute. And it
Mm,
is gorgeous and so inventive and so interesting. And then, she was behind that horrible Spider-Man play. So, I guess you can't be genius all the time, even though I kind of wish that they could. But
right.
wow, it
I
was
mean,
not.
I'd certainly rather watch, from what I've heard at least, that Spider-Man. I'd rather watch that than this.
Oh,
But yeah,
this
I
was
guess you can't. Uh,
so bad.
the woes of being an artist. You
I
can't
know, I
win every
know.
time. So what do you have at 18?
18 again. This was my tie for the bottom. Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. CGI throw up. I absolutely hate this movie. Now, I am not familiar with the source material. I mean, I know it's a video game, uh, and maybe if I liked and played the game, that maybe would change my mind. But I just thought it was a muddled mess. I didn't think Jake Gyllenhaal is athletic enough and whatnot to do what he's asked to do, but I didn't think that he was necessarily a great choice for the role. And I just hate the way it looks. I hate the way it's filmed. I hate all the CGI. I'm sorry to be so negative, but I
No,
just think it's
it's fine. It's the
absolutely
bottom of your list.
horrible, horrible film.
I didn't hate this. You'll see where I have it, but I don't know. I thought it was fine. Like I'm not gonna like come to its strong defense, but I
Yeah,
thought it was just kind of serviceable
yeah.
action movie.
What did you like about it?
I mean, I thought it had some fun action scenes. I liked the cast for the most part. I thought everybody was pretty good. Um, I don't know. I just kind of like a mummy movie or something like that. That's just sort of a serviceable action flick. Like I
Yeah,
thought it had some fun spectacle to it. I wasn't really that bored with the story. It's not like a great movie. I think I gave it 2.5 stars, but I guess I had very low expectations going into it, so maybe that helps too.
Well, and I'm the one who put Alice in Wonderland at number 8, so I cannot know. I'm the one with the really bad taste this round.
Well, my number 18, I have, that's where I have You Again. I actually went in Rome at 17 and I have You Again at 18. This, I can see why some people with different sense of humor would enjoy it. It's just too mean-spirited for my taste.
It's really mean-spirited. I have a higher,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's mean-spirited.
And so I just didn't find it pleasant. It's just not my style of romantic comedy. It's not what I like. So, yeah, I have it at 18.
Yeah, I said I've got You Again higher. And again, it's another one of those, like, I can't believe I ranked it as high as I did. It's the first time I'd seen this. You know, it's one of those that I didn't see in 2010.
Me too.
So I just had rewatched it. You know, I guess part of it for me is I went to school with some people like this, you know, and like the mean spirited ones, like, you know, the mean cheerleader that's going to marry the brother, you know,
Right.
and I guess it was an interesting way for me to kind of process through that. Not so much that I was necessarily directly affected, but just seeing it as disturbing. You know, it's just seeing this kind of behavior. And then I thought I liked how Jamie Lee Curtis and Sigourney Weaver were just like older versions of the same sort of deal. And again, mean spirited, and it's not necessarily that great of a movie. I guess just for me, it was an interesting treatise on how to deal with that kind of behavior, because it's just been kind of on my mind. So
Yeah, I can see that. I kind of wish that they'd had one of that it had, instead of it being all women, that they'd had one of the couplings be men.
God,
Because
yeah,
it does kind of make give this idea that like women are petty, women are,
yeah, agreed.
kind of that I think that would have actually been kind of funny if the Victor
Hmm.
Garber character had
Yeah,
his own person.
yeah, I agree. I think that a strength for me in this movie is just that it's just got. I think I thought Kristen Bell was quite good in the role, and everybody was
Mhm.
good. I just thought that the acting was like pretty solid
Yeah.
in this.
They were really trying to push Kristen Bell, 2010
Yeah, I think
rom-com.
that was I think she was like the it girl, and
Yeah, evidently.
sadly they didn't never necessarily give her great films, but I
So
don't think
yeah,
she really came to her own until Frozen. You know, for me, although I know she did a
yeah,
lot of TV
Fro
work
Frozen and The Good
too.
Place. I know,
Yeah,
that was very popular. So
yeah.
I have You Again at 18, I have When in Rome at 17. What you have at 17?
So at 17, I have the first decom of the bunch, Den Brother,
Mhm.
which was harmless, as I think I mentioned to you, but pure torture. I was just like, get me through this movie. I hated it so much. I guess, I mean, you know, I guess I was frustrated because the brother was so flawed, and I know he had a lot to go through, but it just the whole thing just drove me crazy. And then all of the Girl Scout stuff and the weird adults that were in it, and I don't know. I just it was not my thing. What's your take? What was your take on it?
So I have it at 14. I I think that he was very selfish and a frustrating character.
I know that was
I
the
guess
point.
the only thing I that made it a little higher for me was just that I liked the relationship between the brother and sister. I thought it was sweet, and I feel like that's a relationship that you don't see that often.
Yeah, that's
Is
a
a
good point.
brother and a little sister kind of a
Yeah,
relationship. So that's the only reason that I have it at 14. So,
yeah.
um, so at 16, I have the last song, and I think actually, if you're jonesing for a Nicholas Sparks, weepy rom com, teenage rom com, this is, I mean, not rom com, drama,
Drama.
dramedy.
Yeah,
Um,
dramedy.
if you're
Nicholas
jonesing for that,
Sparksity.
this is fine. I just rarely am jonesing for that. I don't like the Nicholas Sparks brand of romance. It's not for me. Wouldn't have any of them rated very high if I was doing like a 100, favorite romances. Maybe Walk to Remember. I might make the 100. I do like, that one pretty good. I don't know. I just like, oh, here's the beat where someone's gonna get cancer.
Uh,
Okay, and all the long walks by the beach and the tearful, I don't know, kisses and on the beach. And I think that this is a fine example of it, if that's what you like. A lot of
yeah,
people do. They made many of them. People like them. I think Miley's actually fine in it. Um, and she ended up marrying Liam.
yeah.
And so, I mean, they have, I think, fine chemistry. Gary Kinnear's pretty good as her dad. It's a fine movie. It's just not what I like. So I
I
have it
have it
at
a little
16.
higher, which is another one like holy crap, where did that come from? Sorry, but uh, but uh, I think for me, as I don't care for Nicholas Sparks stories. This is not just not my thing.
Yeah.
However, I thought that for Nicholas Sparks' story, this one has actually had pretty nice production values.
Yeah.
I thought Miley Cyrus was good in the role, and I can't believe I'm saying that because I'm not a fan. But I thought she did a good job, and Greg Kinnear was good. I thought it was beautifully filmed. I love,
Yeah.
I know that so many of his stories are set there in North Carolina. I love that. Uh, of course, it's all the melodrama and all the stuff, the burning of the church and all
Yeah.
this stuff. It's just like, oh, I just roll my eyes. But it just is Nicholas Sparks. As
Yeah.
you said, it's Nicholas Sparks. So
It's hard to fault something for being an example of what it is,
what it is,
right?
yeah. And again, I thought that it was a really good, as you said, it was a very good uh, interpretation
Yeah.
what it is, what it was meant to be.
Well, so what do you have at 16?
At 16, I have the Tempest. Yeah,
Yeah.
just to round out my bottom five. Oh, that
It was
was
so
just
bad.
horrible, horrible.
Are you a fan of Rachel's Reviews? Do you look forward to Family Movie Night, Female Film Critics panels, or the Talking Disney podcast? If so, please consider supporting the podcast by becoming a patron. As a patron, you get to access monthly events such as the watch-alongs and Q&As, where you get to talk to stars and find out the behind the scenes of the movie making industry. And you can pick what I review for Family Movie Night or even become a guest on the podcast. Podcasts and YouTube channels are expensive, and I really, really could use your help. I would so appreciate it. You also get to be a member of the Facebook group where we talk about all the films that we're seeing, and we have so much fun. Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies and select one of the Rachel's fan tiers. That's patreon.com/hallmarkies.
All right. Well, 15, I have Camp Rock 2. This was my initiation into Camp Rock. I think we need to give a
Mine
little
too.
explanation to these people about what rock music is. They have no clue. Nothing
Camp,
I heard here is remotely
camp,
rock, aside from
camp
maybe
teen
a
pop.
few electric guitars that you saw every now and then. It was definitely pop music.
Camp
Should be called Camp
teen,
Pop.
teen
Um,
pop.
I was kind of laughing because there's a rock and roll Barbie movie where there's two camps. There's a rock and roll camp and a princess
Oh,
camp, and the
kind of.
Barbies, the two main Barbie characters get swapped and end up going to the wrong camp. So one's in the princess is in like rock
Oh.
camp, and the rock and roll is in the princess camp. And I think that genuinely that's a better movie than this with better songs. But I mean, I don't know. This was fine. The Jonas Brothers are pretty charismatic. Demi Lovato is a pretty good singer. She's good. This is, if you enjoy this kind of music, then you'll have a fun enough time watching it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have much to say. There's not like a ton of story here. It's basically just an excuse for teeny boppers to hear their favorite, songs and
Yeah.
stuff. So
No,
that's what you're
exactly.
gonna do.
This was my first Camp Rock exposure to. I mean, or just watching the movie. I mean, I've been very well familiar that this was a thing. That Camp Rock and Camp Rock 2.
Yeah.
Clearly, I'm not on the the target demographic. I thought it was, yeah, it's cute, harmless, cheery music. I could see why the Jonas Brothers and Demi Lovato were a thing. Like why they were
Yeah.
so popular. That I was like, oh, okay. I think I can, and probably understand. I guess I can understand that.
Yeah, and still to this day,
But
very, very popular.
I didn't love it. I have that at 13, but
Mhm.
still, it was, yeah. And it just makes me dread that I know that in a future we have Camp Rock to watch.
I have heard that this is better than that. This is an improvement on the original Camp Rock. So.
Well, I think you meant
I
to
also
be.
I can't help but the fact that I've seen the Demi Lovato documentary, and I know that this was like a super hard time for her, that she is having eating disorders, and so kind of watching it, it was kind of like having that in the back of my mind.
Oh, yeah, kind of
Um,
sad.
which is kind of hard. I
Yeah.
don't think necessarily her Disney days were all that happy
No,
compared to
it
Miley, which
sounds
seems
like,
like Miley had a much better experience
yeah.
than Demi did. But
I mean, those years sounded really hard for her, and I
yeah,
don't know if it was Disney or her family or her fans or what, et cetera. I mean, just
yeah.
everything, the fame. It's so being so young, it'd be hard.
But what do you have at 15?
So at 15, I have Oceans, Disney Nature Oceans. Oh my gosh, I hated this movie.
Well, I was curious what you would think of it, because it's more of the like Planet Earth
And
style, and I didn't know if that would be more palatable to you, because they don't anthropomorphize
yeah,
the animals as much.
I was really
But
happy about that. I
it sounds like you
love,
didn't.
but and some of the photography. I mean, literally. So some of that cinematography just took my breath away. It's so beautiful because I love the ocean. I think for me, I Pierce Brosnan, he was fine, a fine narrator. I didn't love the stuff that they were having to say. I was so happy that they weren't like anthropomorphizing or like making up stories,
Mhm.
about little children in danger. I think I messaged you one of the times I was watching. I was just waiting for the circle of life moment to come when when the little cute animals were going to get killed by the predators, and it happens. But
I think I
I
want
think
to come over and watch Polar Bear with you, because it's probably the worst they've ever done, even for me.
dreading it.
You will die.
I had one free night the other night. I was like, I probably should just watch Polar Bear and just get it over with, but I didn't. But I, I, I hate to be so. I hate again. It just comes down to I just don't like nature documentaries. I mean, they were just
Mhm.
like showing all these really kind of grotesque, or I guess they were unique. You know, fish under the water and stuff, and how they hide, and then they come to life and kill the fish and all this stuff, and it's just like, please make it stop. Please make it stop. So anyway, torture. Not. I mean, the other Disney Nature, I have a little higher. I think it's a better film. It was actually quite a good film. I know we'll get to that, but yeah, that's why I have Oceans. Oceans yeah.
All right, very good.
Where do you have Oceans? Well, I
Okay.
guess we'll get to it, but yeah, but
Well,
I'm
you'll
sure.
see and you'll
Okay,
die.
okay,
Number 14, I have Den Brother at 14,
okay,
because again, I just like that relationship between the brother and the sister. I thought it was sweet.
okay.
So, um, and
I
then
have
yeah,
Starstruck. I have
okay.
the decom Starstruck at 14. Yeah.
So I have that actually a bit higher. What did you think about that one, Starstruck?
Well, and actually, that's one that I kind of kept moving it around a little bit because it doesn't suck. In a lot of ways, I thought it had a clever premise. Uh, I didn't love that. I thought that the main girl was a bit of a brat, but that's just kind of, I know that they were trying to do like the juxtaposition between her and her sister and in their relationship to this famous boy, right?
Mhm.
but it wasn't just terrible, but I thought Camp Rock for me was just a tad more, if you can call it entertaining, for me. It was
Mm-hmm.
just I had Camp Rock at 13 and then Starstruck at
Mm.
14.
So I have Sorcerer's Apprentice at 13.
Okay.
I guess, I mean, I do agree. I think Jay Baruchel is totally miscast as the lead in this. I don't think he's very good. But I kind of had a little bit of fun with Nicolas Cage's performance. Maybe it's just because he's having kind of a moment now and
Yeah.
appreciating his over the topness. I kind of liked Alfred Molina. I thought that he was kind of fun as a villain. And I don't know. I have Prince of Persia at 12. Both of these I just think are kind of like serviceable.
Yeah.
And they're fine to me. I'm not gonna like defend them much because they definitely have their flaws and they're pretty generic. But I thought they were okay, I guess, both of them.
Well, I
Maybe
appreciate
low
you saying
expectations
that.
help.
I'm probably being, I'm definitely being, I think, overly critical. But the one thing I guess was just kind of disappointing to me, though, is I thought here was an opportunity to have a Disney branded film that would be kind of like a fun action movie, kind of a fun action adventure.
Yeah.
And for me, they both really fell flat. And anyway, I guess maybe it
It's
just
really
being too
interesting to me
creepy.
because pretty much since the original Pirates of the Caribbean,
Yeah,
Disney has completely
they
failed
they can't do
in
it.
starting off any other kind of franchise.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, Prince of Persia, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, The Lone Ranger,
yeah.
uh,
John
The
Carter,
Wrinkle in Time. Which would you say?
John Carter.
John Carter. That's another really good one. They just had kind of one that sort of fizzled with the Jungle Cruise that I'm like that should have been so
I
good, and it
know
was just kind of
Jungle Cruise should have been so good, and it wasn't.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so taking out the remakes, pretty much every other live action film that has come out has been weak. And it's just weird. You would think with all of the talent and development people that they have there at that studio that they would have been able to have come up with another franchise outside of the Pirates of the Caribbean and their remakes. You think they would have been able to come up with something, but I can't think of a single one. Can you?
no, no, I can't.
Which
And I
is
know
just
that they've tried, but every single one has failed. It's really too
yeah.
bad.
I mean, Artemis Fowl failed,
Yeah,
um,
that was so bad.
and I don't know. It's just kind of. I mean, from a business standpoint, you understand why they keep making the remakes because they're the
Yeah,
only thing that's successful
yeah.
outside of their animated films.
And it's given me an extra appreciation that why Bob Iger wanted to buy Marvel,
Yeah,
because I think it's the Marvel films that really
yeah.
take the place of the kind of the Disney action adventure movies of my youth.
Yeah, and it
Yeah,
just seems like such simple elements. It just shows how hard it is to make a good
yeah,
movie.
how
It's
hard.
not easy.
Yeah.
It's really not. So I lost place where you're at.
Okay, so 13, so 14 was Starstruck, 13 for me was Camp Rock 2, and then are we at 12? Yeah, I don't
12,
know if
yeah.
you. So at 12 I have The Crimson Wing, The Mystery of the Flamingos, the other Disney nature movie of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which it's I was so again the strength for me of the Disney nature films is just the stunning cinematography. It's stunning. It's
Mhm.
absolutely gorgeous. And this was quite an interesting story. I didn't know about these flamingos, so I feel like I
Mhm.
learned something and I wasn't necessarily bored out of my mind. And it's still circle of life stuff, which I just,
Mhm.
hate. But anyway, but it's not, but
Yeah.
for Disney nature is really quite a good one.
And I think you agree. I think it is definitely underrated. I don't know why they didn't release this one, why it was only direct to DVD. It's my
Yeah.
favorite of all of them.
Yeah. And I
So,
can see why it'd be
well,
your favorite. It's
yeah.
very good.
So my number 12, like I said, was Prince of Persia.
Okay.
My number 11 is actually Secretariat. And I know that you have this a lot higher.
I have a
But
higher, but it was also kind of just like default because I don't love Secretariat. I mean, I like it,
mm,
but I don't love it.
my problem with this movie is that I kind of don't think she's actually a very good person. And so
Oh,
that makes it hard for me to root for her because
yeah,
it's one thing if she is very dedicated to her job, and I applaud that. But she literally leaves her family for a long time, like
yeah,
practically the whole year she's gone.
it's gone.
And I don't know, I found that, I mean, I hate saying that somebody's a bad mother because that seems too harsh, but you can't really mother if you're not there. You need,
Hmm.
especially in this era of what it was, you
Yeah,
need to be there. You need to be there for your daughter. You need to be there for your family. And I don't think that taking care of this horse is as important as if you have the privilege, which so many people don't, of having your own family, your own children. You need to be there. You have to be where they're at. um, and so that made it hard for me to root for her and for her success because I just was like, yeah, her daughter is acting out because her mother is gone
mother's not there.
and she needs her mother. And then, she's having marital problems. Of course she's having marital problems. She's not there. She needs
Yeah,
to be at home.
yeah,
And so that was my struggle with this movie. They either needed to move to where the horse was, or she needed to find a different dream because your family's family first, in my opinion. That's what I struggled with in the movie. I just found her kind of a hard character to root for.
yeah,
So that's why she ended up at 11. It is very well made, well acted, so it's good on
yeah.
that
I
level.
think that's
But
why I have a higher. And again, just also just a fallout with the rest of the movies of the year. Yeah,
so, what did you have at 11?
I have Step Up 3
Mm-hmm.
at 11. Now, I this is I think I've seen the original Step Up. I think with Channing Tatum, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and I think this was the second one. I might have seen Step Up Revolution. I'm trying, it's a blur. But this one, I was so happy to, to see that it was directed by John M. Chu. I
Yeah.
really loved his work with In the Heights,
Yeah.
and the reason that I have it as high as I do, because honestly, and I'm sorry, I don't wish to offend anybody, but my idea of hell, Rachel, is to have to watch hip hop dance competitions. It's just like this is so horrible. Like
Uh-huh.
I can't stand the TV shows, and I just think if I were there, I think I probably would just feel like, yeah, I have been a bad person and I've gone to hell because it would be my punishment because I hate it so much. So that's 3/4 of this movie is hip hop dance competitions, and so for that reason, that was torture. However, John M. Chu is really a good director. I thought that some of the stuff was fun. I thought that like kind of that parkour stuff on the rooftops was fun. And there's that really incredibly charming like one take dance scene that's just right out of a Gene Kelly Stanley Donen movie. And I just that to me elevated, and then they go back to hip hop dance competition where I think I might perish. So anyway, I'm just saying. Sorry to offend
No,
anybody.
it's so this one, I think for you, I'm kind of a little bit the opposite of you. I have it at 10, but the one I think I'm a little bit the opposite of you, and pretty much the only thing I like about this movie is the dancing. But the dancing is so great, in my opinion, that it gets it to number 10.
Mhm.
Particularly the water dance, I think is so good at the end. Um, I I have kind of nostalgia, I guess you might say, for this movie because the critic William Bibiani, he loves this movie. It's like one of his all-time
Yeah,
favorite
it is.
movies.
Yeah,
And
you sent me
we
that
had
podcast. It was so fun to watch.
he's also a big Hallmark fan, and he really enjoys the movies and stuff. And so we had him on. We did an Alicia Witt Hallmark movie ranking with him as well. We've had him on twice, and I just always really admired him as a critic, and so it was super fun to have him on the podcast.
Oh yeah,
And uh, this is just fun to hear him talk about this movie and how much he loves it. The story is just not great. I don't think that they have very good chemistry, this couple
they had
that's
zero
in
chemistry. I thought.
yeah, in Step Up 3.
Yeah,
But I think, like I said, especially that water dance, I think at the end is so good. Um, but and you've seen a lot of people copy it basically since,
yeah.
like in the Descendants 2, that whole water
That
dance
whole water
at
dance
the end.
is like a total ripoff of
Hmm.
that scene in Step Up 3. Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm kind of like you with ballet, as you are with hip hop. I
yeah.
find ballet pretty boring. I can go to like the Nutcracker, and that has kind of enough other stuff, but
Uh
a lot
huh.
of times I kind of think ballet's a little boring. Uh, but for me, I enjoy I guess the hip hop more. I just think the dance scenes are really good in this, so I have it at 10.
You
What do you have
know,
at 10?
I should one before I get to number
Oh,
10.
sorry.
Just one. No. You're fine. What I just wanted is I should probably add to another thing. I think knowing that I've gone to hell is that if I have to watch Disney nature movies on loop, I think I would die. Just like I've been a bad person. I gotta do
Trying to think
better.
what
Do better
would
in my
be
life.
I think mine would probably be having to watch Minions movies on loop.
Oh,
I think that
yes.
would be my
Yeah.
hell.
So anyway, sorry to digress
You're
and
fine.
to use bad language. Um, Number 10 for me is Avalon High, which is a
Hmm.
decom, and I was just so surprised with how clever this was. I mean, it's a
Hmm.
decom, and so it's not necessarily high production values or whatnot, but this one actually there was a lot of cool stuff. I thought a lot of cool location shots and such a clever idea about bringing King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table into a high school setting the way they did it.
Hmm.
It just really worked for me.
Yeah.
What's your take on it?
You'll see it. It's way higher. I really
Okay.
enjoyed it. And it's, full disclosure, written by Julie Sherman Wolfe, who
Yeah, you mentioned
is a
that to
big
me.
Hallmark writer.
She does such a nice
She's
job.
Yeah, this was actually, I think, the first project that she ever did, and then she kind of moved over to the rom-com area. But I think she did a great job. She's really good at kind of writing witty scripts with banter and bringing some humor in. I think Britt Robertson is super underrated as an actress. I feel bad because I feel like she's just gotten so unlucky in so many projects that probably on
Oh,
paper, like Tomorrowland, looked so good,
come on,
and
man.
then fizzled out. And uh, but she's good in this.
It is good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Well, my number 9 is Iron Man 2. I think the problem with Iron Man 2 is that you just can't have Tony being so unlikable for so long of the movie. It also has more villains than it needs, but it does have some good sequences. The track sequence is pretty fun. Um, I like what's his name, Sam Rockwell character, even though he's another Iron Man villain in a suit. I think he's pretty good. The dynamic between Tony and Pepper is pretty good in this one. Um, it has its pluses, but it feels rushed, and it was rushed. And I just think he's just too much of a jerk for too much of the movie.
Yeah, I
So I
have
have
it
it at
at number.
9.
I have Iron Man 2 at number 7. One thing just to clarify, just for purists out there, this technically was not, even though Disney owned Marvel by 20, they bought Marvel in 2009. Uh, this was technically a Paramount Pictures release. Disney has since, I think how they acquired it, and it's on, of course, on Disney Plus, and and as we know, part of the Marvel,
Yeah.
the MCU, and all that, which Disney owns. But anyway, we thought, we should still, include it. So,
Yeah.
but I don't love this movie. I think it's got some real problems. I think I like the whole John Flaherty, Howard Stark kind of a la Walt, kind of like
That's
playing
true.
Walt Disney. That part I think is quite clever, but I also think they have to spend all this time, this exposition with Nick Fury and Black Widow. That
Mm-hmm.
again plays into the whole MCU raw, but as far as it seems like it kind of brings the film to a halt.
Yeah, I kind of forget that Black Widow's in it sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. And as you said, just too crowded. Um, it's as good as the original Iron Man was. This was, I think, a real disappointment. I mean, with some high points, but overall, not a great film. I liked that racetrack scene, as you mentioned, with Mickey
Mm-hmm.
Rourke and the whips and all that stuff. That was well done. I thought that was a pretty exciting sequence, but then it kind of goes downhill for me.
Yeah. What do you have at 9?
And then I have the last song, which again,
Mm.
like, what has happened to Stan? I mean, what has happened to me? I have Nicholas Sparks and Alice in Wonderland. But I think it just goes to show the way. But I just honestly just came down to like, okay, how much did I really enjoy and respect this movie? And I just,
Yeah.
I can't make excuses for it, but I still, look at the ranking, and I kept trying to move the last song down lower, and I just couldn't, because it was, to me, it was better than the other, than the other
Mm-hmm.
movies that are below it.
So what do you have at 8?
And at 8, that's where I have Alice in Wonderland, which again is just like, what in the world? What in the world? But it's just,
Mm-hmm.
it's just what I
Yeah.
think. So there you go.
Own your ranking.
Yeah, yeah, I do. I do. I own it. I try to explain to people who think I've lost my mind. But what's your 8, 9? Did we already talk about your 9?
Okay. So 9, I have Iron Man 2.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So my number 8 is kind of a weird one. I didn't know how to rank it because it's The Boys. I have
Uh
at
huh.
8, which is a documentary. And when I first finished, I was like, "Oh, that was a pretty good documentary." And then the more it sat with me, I was kind of like, I I just feel like the whole purpose of this documentary was to say, "Look, they actually weren't great friends after all." And I guess that's true, but did we really need that? Like, do we need to know that? Did I need to know that about the Sherman brothers? Did I need to know that they kind of didn't like each other? And I mean, that was the whole, they would just repeat it over and over again about, oh, well, their kids didn't see each other and they didn't really get along. And they had this kind of combative relationship. And I was kind of like, maybe we should have just kept that to ourselves. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why do we need to know that? I don't know. And that's where I struggled with it. It is well done. It's well made. It's interesting. It has some good interviews. I don't know. It kind of felt like airing your dirty laundry
Yeah,
to me.
laundry. Like, yeah, this is like a kind of a family thing that should really be kept
Yes.
in the family rather
So
than.
that's why I have it at 8. It's not badly done. It's not a bad movie. But I don't know. I just kind of soured on it the more I thought about it.
Yeah, I have it a little higher. I think. Um, For me, I'm with you. It's just like, I was almost like, I kind of wish I didn't know that they didn't like each
Mm-hmm.
other. But then I guess I was in a way kind of marvel at the fact that for as much as they didn't like each other, they really were able to create some amazing art together. And I don't
Yeah.
know if necessarily the documentary cracked how that happened, you know? But I
Mm-hmm.
ultimately felt like the documentary was being made it was made by their children and really for their children. It was almost just like I felt like the children had, for whatever reason, the children had to make this in order to try to heal.
Yeah.
And and but I'm with you. I think I would have been better off not knowing that these two brothers who made such joyful. I mean, I just can't think of it. Mary Poppins to me is just joy, and
Mhm.
so much of their other work too. But
Yeah.
particularly Mary Poppins and that they didn't like each other. So
Yeah, it was a
again I
bummer.
have a little higher because I thought that even though the focus was on their dislike for each other, it was still also fun though to learn how they work together and their relationship with
Yeah.
Walt Disney and I that time at the studio. What an interesting time that was, and
Mhm.
anyway, a peek into that. But yeah, pretty overall kind
Yeah.
of depressing.
It made me think, don't make a movie about the Sherman Brothers. At first I would have been like, oh, that would be so fun. Disney should make a movie, but
Like,
no, don't make one.
no, like let's just keep it like saving Mr. Banks. Let's just keep it
Yeah.
there, where they
Yeah.
don't. They're just
So, what do you have at 8? Did you say?
at 8. Yeah, Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, right.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Merch Store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies Merch Store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
I have Starstruck at 7.
Oh, nice.
I really
Okay.
enjoyed it. I thought it was very sweet, basically kind of a Cinderella-ish kind of type of modern take on it. The movie star meets the ordinary girl from the Midwest. But it was cute. I enjoyed it. I thought it did a good job at everything it was trying to do, and yeah, it's definitely. I would say it's up there for me in my like top quadrant. I would say of like my top 20. I might include
Yeah.
it. DComs. I liked it.
Yeah, as I said, I didn't think it sucked. It was
Yeah.
it was pretty cute.
Yeah.
And clever. Huh.
What do you have? 7.
7, I have Iron Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, 6, I have Tron Legacy. This was the first time I've seen this. I love the original Tron. And so I kind of avoided this because I just love the original so much. And it's very, very fun to watch. It looks great. And so that's how it got up to 6. But I just felt like the story was just an afterthought. The story
I
was
know.
there was not good in my opinion. This story, I mean, there was just so little story. I mean, most of the movie is these races and chases and whatever going on. And I thought when I was watching, I was like, I bet Stanford loves this movie because he loves cars and he loves races and he loves things like
And
that.
I love Tron. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I love the original Tron so much.
But for me, that doesn't really love cars or racing or, I mean, they're not cars, but you know what I mean? Like these races that they have. It just felt like I was watching, I said it felt like a laser roller derby competition for
Yeah. No,
2
I
hours.
can appreciate that. Yeah.
But it is very striking, great world building. It has some nice moments between father and son. So it got enough to get to 6, but I didn't love it.
Yeah, I have it higher, just for the reasons that you stated.
I knew it.
I don't think Tron Legacy is a really great film in this, particularly story wise. I think
Yeah.
it's really lacking. But I thought that they nailed the visuals, and
Oh, yeah.
those
And the music is
yeah,
great.
the music was super cool, and it just visually, it was a really delightful experience. I keep wishing they'd make another sequel, and then and like have it be like really good, like
Right.
being able to ace the story, but I don't know. There's all sorts of rumors. Although they've made that Tron roller coaster ride
Yeah.
that's in Shanghai Disneyland, that's coming to Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. I just keep wondering if that proves to be super popular in the U.S., then maybe they'll
Yeah.
throw us a bone and give us another Tron movie. There was a Tron animated series too that
Oh
came out.
yeah.
I can't remember what year that was, but it was after it was after um, Tron Legacy came out. So that was and that was kind of cool. I don't remember seeing every episode, but I remember seeing some of it. Did you ever
Speaking of
watch that?
another attempt at a franchise that fizzled,
Yeah, that
Tron Legacy.
fizzled.
Yeah. I've
Yeah,
never seen the animated, but I heard about it.
it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily
Yeah.
great, but anyway, yeah. So I've got Tron higher, but at number 6, Rachel, I have you again, which
Oh yeah.
I'm not trying to be apologetic about. I mean, I am being apologetic, but I my choices are my choices on
Yeah.
this. But for whatever reason, it was to me it was an interesting film, even though it was less of a rom com for me
Mm-hmm.
and more of a um not a coming of age film, but it's just kind of like a comedy drama.
Yeah. I can
Uh,
understand that.
yeah, yeah,
Well, my number 5 is Oceans. Because it's kind of remember when we were talking about the Penguins movie and I ranked it over Star Wars.
yeah.
The thing, and I said then, and I say it here, is that if you're looking at what is the movie trying to do and did it successfully do it, I think this movie does what it's trying to do. It
Hmm.
like again, you can't fault something for being what it is.
No,
Like if people don't like nature documentaries, then they're never gonna could be won over.
right.
And this one I think I mean, I love the ocean so much, and I don't mind nature documentaries. I like them, um, but and so this one, just seeing all the beautiful nature, all the beautiful ocean animals, I thought it, I liked it. I thought it was good, um, but this one is like I said, more of that sort of David Attenborough kind of a
Yes,
style of nature documentary, Planet Earth, Planet Blue, kind of
yeah.
those type of
They
things.
cover so much
Yeah.
material and so many
Mhm.
different species, and
And
I totally respect that.
I think this would be a good like background movie you could just have on and while you're going about your day, doing your laundry, things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Uh, which is nice. But it's just I just love the ocean and I enjoy nation I enjoy nature documentaries. I think this is a pretty good one. So it was my number 5. What do you have at 5?
at 5, I have Secretariat. For
Mhm.
me, I appreciate all of your comments about it, and I don't disagree. Uh, I I found it to be a pretty nice sports movie, Disney sports
Mhm.
movie, and so uh, anyway, nice production values, and again, I
Yeah.
just liked it better than the other films from the year. Although not that I just loved it, but
Yeah.
I thought there was plenty to like, and that it was beautifully made.
Yeah. Well, my number 4 is Avalon High. I just thought it was really entertaining. I really
Yeah,
liked the
it was
story. I
solid.
liked the banter. I liked the performances. Uh, I I just really enjoyed it. So it ended up at number 4.
Yeah. No, and I
Mm,
just I think it's so cool that the
yeah.
screenwriter, and what a talent she is. What a nice job she did with that film, and
Yeah. She's
hopefully
a
her Hallmark movies are as good.
yeah. I'll have to make a list of some of her better Hallmark movies so that
Oh yeah,
because she has very few misses in my opinion. Almost all of them are uh, are really fun rom coms that just happen to be on Hallmark Channel. What do you have it for?
I have the boys.
Hmm.
Uh, at 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's kind of a tough movie, and it's a depressing movie.
Yeah.
but again, thought it was really well made, and again, in
Hmm.
comparison to the rest of the year, that's where I put it.
Yeah. All right. Well, number 3 is where I have the Crimson Wing
Oh,
mystery of the
nice!
flamingos.
Go, Rachel!
This is my favorite Disney nature film. I love how they set it up as if it's like Lord of the Rings with like the mythology of the
Yeah,
lake and
that's right.
the those birds that prey on the the little
Ugh,
flamingos made me so mad. I mean, I had a honestly, the first time I watched this was years ago. First time I watched this, I had a visceral reaction. I was like, "No!"
yeah,
Because
exactly.
these little flamingos, they get these salt on their
Oh,
feet, and they can't move, and
they can't
they're running
move.
along.
Oh,
How
it's
can
so
you be filming
horrible.
this and not save the
I
adorable?
know.
It was oh, and then yeah, and then these whatever they are, these they swing in and take the little birds, and I just about died, and it was the it is the most one of the most engrossing nature documentaries I've ever seen, and I really liked the whole sort of setup of it all. And they don't really anthropomorphize the animals at all. They just create the sort of lore of the lake, which I had thought was very very fun. So
I
I really
kudos to
like
them.
it.
That it was a really a good script, I thought, and again,
Right?
unbelievable cinematography. And
Yeah.
I'm with you. Although, I mean, truth be told, Rachel, it happens to me every time when they do the circle of, I call it the circle of life scenes. But when the predators show up and eat the little children, the little baby, things. When that was showing up, and particularly with those little flamingos suffering with the sand caked on their legs, I'm just like, oh my gosh,
Oh,
I hate this so much. I can't watch.
the salt on their legs. I was just like,
Oh,
oh,
this rips your
it was
heart out.
so sad. But I really did have, I had like a strong visceral reaction to this. It was the first time I saw it, and I mean, and they are so cute. And then, so when it happens, you're just like, you
I know.
monsters.
Exactly.
But
Oh,
I like it. I think it's good. So I have it at 3. I couldn't put it anywhere else.
yeah. And that's right. Tron Legacy is at 3.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because for all the reasons that you stated. I loved it.
All right.
Yeah.
I think our no 2 and 1 are the same, I
Okay,
believe.
good. Clearly,
So
they're going to be close, right? Yeah.
number 2, I have Toy Story 3,
Yeah, me too.
and I love, Toy Story 3. I think that it's a great prison escape movie. I really appreciate how each of the Toy Story movies, they've done like a different genre of storytelling,
Hmm.
which I think keeps things
Hmm.
fresh and
I like that a
interesting. I think
lot too.
Lotso is a great villain. I think Barbie is great. I love Jodie Benson in that role, and
Ken
then
and
Michael
Barbie in
Keaton
Toy Story
as
3 are
Ken.
just knock it
Yeah,
out of the
so
park.
good. Of course, the ending is great. I think I have to say, I think the incinerator scene is a little over the top. I think it's a little
Yeah,
much.
it's a little
Uh,
too intense.
yeah, it's just a little too manipulative for my taste, but overall, it's a really good film. I really enjoy it. I know a lot of people have this as their favorite Toy Story. It's not for me, but I still, it's one of my. It would be up there, on my animated films. I really, love it, and it's beautifully. The animation is gorgeous. So, yeah, it had to be number 2.
Yeah, I love this movie so much, just for all the
Hmm.
reasons that you've stated. It's not my favorite Toy Story movie either, but it's really just basically it's just terrific. They just I just basically love
Yeah,
everything about it. Yeah,
I think it's definitely the if you're counting it as a trilogy, the first 3 is Andy's
yeah,
trilogy. I think it's maybe the best ever. I mean,
Yeah,
those three
I'm
movies are
with
so
you. Those
strong.
3 movies, they are all 3 of them are so
Yeah.
solid, and as so many people talk about, 3 really had kind of this perfect conclusion to that trilogy.
Yeah.
And I know that was a a complaint for people when Toy Story 4 came out, but hopefully the quality of that movie and just the different genre that it was playing in,
Hmm.
kind of swayed
Yeah.
others
I feel like
to have
it's
great
almost more of a
movies too.
I feel like it's almost more of a spin-off in a way.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, than a
And
sequel.
like
But
a sequel.
yeah. So our number 1 is Tangled, both of us.
Yay! Both of us
Yay.
picked Tangled.
And
Love
people that have
Tangled.
listened yeah, people have listened to our ranking podcast, they know that we both have this very high on our Disney canon rankings. I
Yeah.
have it at
Oh yeah.
3.
I
I
have it
think
at
you have it at
10.
10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and it's really Disney's first romantic comedy. I've said this many times, but you really get to know both Flynn and Rapunzel equally well. They're both co-leads. The banter between them is so good. I love Mother Gothel. She's amazing. It's one of my favorite Disney films of all time.
Yeah. It's so terrific. And uh, you know, maybe one of the few years where Walt Disney Animation Studios wins over Pixar, as far as
Mm-hmm.
as a ranking goes. But Tangled is just, it's perfection. It's this, Disney really, as I always keep saying, I view it as Disney finally figured out how to make a CGI fairy tale that's a Disney movie,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's pure delight.
It's so good. All right. Well, let's go over our list real quick. So I have I have Alice in Wonderland at 20. I have The Tempest at 19. You Again, 18. When in Rome at 17. The Last Song at 16. Camp Rock 2, The Final Jam at 15. Den Brother at 14. Sorcerer's Apprentice at 13. Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time at 12. The Secretariat at 11. I have Step Up 3 at 10. Iron Man 2 at 9. The Boys at 8. Starstruck at 7. Tron Legacy at 6. Oceans at 5. Avalon High at 4. The Crimson Wing at 3. Toy Story 3 at 2. And Tangled at 1.
Nice. And I have at number 20, When in Rome. 19 is The Sorcerer's Apprentice. 18 is The Prince of Persia, and for me, kind of 18, 19, and 20 are a 3-way tie. Number 17 is Den Brother. 16, The Tempest. 15, Oceans. 14, Starstruck. 13 is Camp Rock 2, The Final Jam. And can we really say it was The Final Jam? I think it was. They haven't made it. They didn't make a Camp Rock 3, did they? Anyway, sorry, I digress. 12.
I'm telling you, that Barbie movie's better. Promise.
12, The Crimson Wing, Mystery of the Flamingos. 11, Step Up 3. 10, Avalon High. 9, The Last Song. 8, Alice in Wonderland. 7, Iron Man 2. 6, You Again. 5, Secretariat. 4, The Boys. 3, Tron Legacy. 2, Toy Story 3. And then my number 1, same as Rachel's, Tangled.
Yay!
Yay!
Very good. We finished. Well, let us know if you're listening what you think of our
Yes.
rankings of these movies and what your ranking would be. We'd love to hear. And if you want to do like a video or podcast, or whatever, if you want to put your rankings, let us know, tag us, and we'll share it. We'd love to hear what you think. And Stanford, where can people find you?
On Twitter, I'm at Stanford Clark, and I have a movie podcast and blog at moviespastandpresent.com.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So please check that out. Also, make sure that if you are listening to the podcast on iTunes, please leave us your ratings and reviews, 5 stars. It really helps us a lot. And if you are listening on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group, which we appreciate that support. And we have the merch store where you can get hashtag Animation Junkie shirts. So take a look at that. That helps us out a lot. And thanks so much. We'll talk next time with 2009.
Yeah, thank you. See ya.
Bye.